Good morning, everybody. I am going to play a little bit more with my flower arranging ideas. If you do a little bit of this every day, just a little bit, you don't have to do too much, you'll get in some fairly good habits and you will learn a lot. Today I'm going to work with this Hungry JPEG Floral Bundle, August of 2016, and a sub element of it is called Violaceous. The floral bundle is still available, and here is a link to it. Unfortunately, because this is a movie, it's not a link, but I will put this link in the information when I upload this to YouTube. Okay, I have put most of the elements from this one little small package, and this bundle is chock-a-block full of wonderful floral elements if that's what you like. But right now I've got this this flower. I've already done this little spray. You've seen me do this before. I'll run you really quickly through it so that you don't have to look at another video, but I've done these two. And the reason I do this in this process, in this manner, is it takes up less room on the paper. As you'll see, I crop the item so that I don't have a lot of extra space around it. The extra space usually doesn't do anything terrible, but it's just annoying to me. So here's the process, and you've seen me go through. See this big box? This one little flower takes up this much room. So what I'm going to do is quickly, and you can see this doesn't take long, trace element, which I'm going to trace. And I'm going to do the usual uncheck high pass filter. And since it's an image, I can't, well, in this case, I can. Sometimes if I bring it all the way to 100%, it will give me the big square and not the flower. But in this case, it did it. I click outer edge. Okay, now I've got a cut. You can see it. I'm going to, there's the cut file. I'm going to Control Z twice because I moved it a bit. So now I'm going to, and if I did this, it would move it. You see, that's the problem with that big white space. I check out here and I'm still checking the flower, and I don't want that. It's just a terrible nuisance to me. So what I do is get way down here, see that great big spot, and then I double click. I make sure I get the cropped element as well as the big one. So I got two little lines that you can see very carefully here. Then I go up to the modify window and I hit crop. Okay, now I don't have the cut line, or maybe I do, but I don't want to use it. It's set to no cut, and which is what I want it to be set to. That is, the image itself is not going to cut. If I set it to cut and then I did another cut line like I'm going to do, I would end up double cutting, which I don't want. So you always check this cut settings. It really saves you a lot of headache later on. So here I go, do the same thing I just did. Uncheck the high pass filter, slide it all the way, and then trace outer edge. Of course, now I have a much smaller, see the smaller outline. And then I'm going to go up here and, yeah, go up here and hit crop. Okay, so now they're grouped. I'm sorry, I didn't mean the word crop, I meant group. So now I've grouped it together. And as you've seen me do before, now I can copy and paste, and play with this. So I have a variation. In this case, I go up here. I might just go to the gamma. So now I have one that's slightly different, which is good because I'll show you what I'm going to do with all of these in a minute. So I hit paste again. I could colorize it, but I'm not too interested in doing that unless I see something really beautiful. Sometimes I just play with this. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, I think I'll keep that one. And gamma, a little bit darker. So now I have one flower, two branches. It's actually one branch and one flower, but I've made all of these separate elements out of that. So I'll go back over here and let's see, pick something like this. We're going to do this. Comes out on a separate sheet. What I'm going to do is cut it and go back to the same Oh, now I've done this before, and you'll see what it did is since I had this flower selected, when I dragged the flower over here, it just filled it in. So when you run into a problem like that, you hit Control-Z a couple of times. Okay, now that's the flower. Unselect it. Then I go to the other window where it resides, or should reside, except I cut it. Let me go back and find it again. Okay, so now I'm going to do it again. And now I know I have unchecked that window, which is what you want to make sure you do, but it's no biggie. I will select it, copy, and this way I'll keep it. And I think it's this page here, yeah. So see, nothing was selected, so now I can just paste another flower. And I'm going to run through, see this great big space, and if I'm hitting out here, I'm still selecting it, so don't like that. So I'm going to go through the same routine twice, and it doesn't take very long, as you can see. Uncheck the high pass filter. I think I can go all the way out, trace outer edge, and then I go down here so I won't select the other two flowers. Select both of these, go to the modify window and hit crop. Now I've got a smaller space, and but I don't have that as a cut file yet. So I go through the same process again, and it doesn't take long, as I said. Whoops. I'm going to go to my select trace window, go and do this, and it's real slide it easy, trace outer edge. Now I have it as a cut line. I will group it. Okay, now I can play with it like you've seen me do before. Copy, paste, and let's get a darker version. I like that. We'll keep that. And okay. And then I'm going to paste it again and maybe colorize it and see what I get. Oh, there's a pretty pink one. Actually, that's a nice crosswalk between this flower and this flower, I think. I might just keep it just the way it is. I really like that. Okay, so I've got some flowers. Now I need a little bit more foliage. So back to my library pickings. I've already done this one. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, well, oh, I need some nice leaves. So let me go ahead and do that. And that I'm going to copy, paste it. Fortunately, whoops, don't want that. I don't like, I need to go in and remove that centerpiece. I'll do that later. I don't want to incorporate that into this video. Anyway, go through the same routine, select trace, high pass filter, all the way to the end, trace outer edge. I picked up a little bit of garbage in there, I can see that. So I'm going to go and, if you double click on it and hit a point, you can go up here and delete the point until, I mean, that's pretty much the quickest way. And sometimes in these images, this happens. I'm going to do a little bit of editing. Now I find that my line is going in the northerly direction. Oh, see this one here? That's just a piece of garbage here I don't really need, so I'm going to go and take that out. All right. So now I'm going to zoom out, bring this leaf in here. I could have cleaned this up too, made this, I might just do that. What happens is when you're doing the watercolor kind of thing, sometimes there's a dab of color that gets on it, and what I'm doing here is just straightening this mess out. There we go. All right, so now zoom out again, bring this little baby in and get it incorporated, because now what I'm going to do is crop it. I'm going to crop this image so those pieces will be out of there. Yeah. Okay, so now I have to go, and you see I get two things selected. I'm selecting the cut line and this unnecessary white space. And I'm going to go to modify window, crop. All right, so Now I'll do it again. I know you've seen me do this 100 times. Select the area, select this piece, high pass filter all the way over, outer edge. Now I'm able to group this. Okay, so I have one, and I can do copy paste. Again, I'm going to just colorize this. I could do, if I was really, I like that, so I'm keeping it. If I were, what I might do with that one is also hit Object, Mirror, Flip horizontally, so it's going in the other direction. That's kind of good. Okay, if I were going to show you the full thing, I would do many more elements from the library that I've brought in from that Hungry JPEG bundle. But for now, I want to get to the fun part and play with this a little bit more. So I've got 2 sets of branches, a few variety of flowers. Now what I have done, let's see if I can find this. Yeah. One of my favorite sites that I look at is called enchantedhome.com. This woman has an absolutely fabulous home. But she also runs a store where she sells various things, home items, home deck items. Her pictures on her website, as I've shown you here, are amazing. Let me see if I can find that website now. Let's see if I can find her. No, I think I've gone out of it. So, but if you go to this enchantedhome.com blog, in this version of her postings, she had the most wonderful things for sale. And she does a nice job of cleaning out the background, so I don't have to do that. So very often I will copy her items and make a cut file out of them. And this is a cut file I have. As you can see, I've made, going through the process I just showed you on all of the other things, I have made these cut files. And what I want to show you now is one way to use them. So I'm going to copy this, hit copy. Let's go back to my full color version. Okay, and then I'll go back to my, get rid of that. No. And I don't need that, so I'm going to get rid of that, not to confuse myself and everybody else, and go back to where I have my flowers. Okay, that's already a cut file. I'm going to hit paste. And here's where you can have some really fun. I'm going to make sure that goes to the back. And the reason is I'm going to do some flower arranging. And here's a flower. Let's see. It's going to be hanging over here. And here's where you can, right now these are all separate cut files, as you'll see. Once I get them arranged, I will try to group them. I'm going to make this bigger, and I'm going to rotate it and kind of stick it in there. And this, I'm going to also make that larger. I'm trying to get it in proportion to the flower arranging. And if obviously I don't want the stem to be on top, so I've sent it to the back. And I think I'll arrange that to go like that. How's that? All right, then I can bring this little flower down, and maybe I'll put that over here. Bring this flower down, which is pretty. Remember, I've only used 2 flowers, but because I have gone through the, now I'm going to also send that one back. The backward never works for me. I do backward and forward, and it doesn't seem to do anything, so I'm sending it to the back. But now I need to get this one to the back, and it'll go behind there. So now it's gone all the way behind the other item, but that's okay, because now I can just bring this in front. As you can see, this is not the most beautiful arrangement, but what I wanted to show you is how much fun you can have. I'm going to move this like that. I'm also going to make it bigger and throw that in there. Okay. Actually, this turned out much better than I thought. The only thing I need to do is, actually, you know what I'm going to do with this one here? I could send it backwards, but remember the backward Doesn't, oh, there it is. That worked fine, and I can do that. But if it didn't, I could just cut off the bottom of the stem, just like you would a real flower. Okay, so now I have this really sweet flower arrangement. But as you can see, if I checked my cut settings, I would find a real mess, right? If I tried to do all of this, it would be a terrible mess. So I'm going to, for now, select the whole bunch. I'm going to group it so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to set that to no cut. And it's set to no cut now. Let's double check. You can't be too careful. There, it's no cut. So now what I want to do is take my little bouquet and flower arrangement. Isn't that beautiful? Not bad. And cut it. Select it, trace it. Trace the whole thing. Uncheck high pass filter, slide it all the way, trace outer edge, and you'll see, now I have taken all those separate elements and created this lovely cut file. Now I'm going to select both of these and group it. And that's all there is to this. Then I could make these smaller. This is about a 5-inch. Just make a pretty card. Put it on the front of a card, maybe raise it up a bit. But for purposes of this, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller, make some stickers. Anyway, I'm going to do a whole bunch of these actually because I love doing it. And each time I do it, it comes out a little bit different. And this is, I believe, an 8.5 by 11. Yeah, 8.5 by 11. That's my white shiny sticker, glossy sticker paper. So if I put my cut settings on, then I can start arranging these. I urge you to take whatever flowers you have, and you can see I found things on the internet. This is a real item that was for sale, and I converted it into a very pretty old world kind of vase or receptacle for these flowers. Now, of course, this isn't the end of it. I could do a copy and paste, and now that I have this, I could play with it some more. I don't know what I'll end up with, but back to my favorite shader effects window. Let's colorize it. Ooh, that's terrible. Don't like that. Anyway, you see, this doesn't work as well in the colorization because it's all one unit. It's not colorizing things separately, which you can do, as you saw me do earlier with these, with the separate elements. You could have even colorized the receptacle if you wanted. But what I can do here is darken. Whoops, let's check this and hit gamma, and that's where I could make a whole different look there if I wanted it to be darker. And that's about it. I hope you've enjoyed this and hope you'll play as I have played, and you'll learn a lot in the process. The only tips I have, as I usually do, is don't be afraid to play. Control Z always takes you back, and you can go back to 5 or 6 times or even more, I think. And so nothing is totally gone. I encourage you to always check your cut settings and make sure things are inside this cut line. I'm told that you can print into that area, but not into the area where the registration marks are. So the other thing is always check your cut settings. Believe me, it saves you some heartache when you go to cut these elements. If you've left something uncut, you can get a disaster. So hopefully you'll play. Check your cut settings. And don't be afraid. Just try all kinds of things and play with those shader effects window, because it's just a marvel. I just used what, two flowers, one vase, and one leaf. It's the same leaf here as is here, and another. So two pieces of greenery, two flowers, and a vase. And I made this beautiful flower arrangement. Well, anyway, the point of this is to share some of these tips for you to learn how to do this quickly so it doesn't become a chore. And bottom line is, have fun. That's it for now.